What up, y'all? It's been so long since I did a live. I was just writing like some lyrics and stuff, you know. But before I get into that, I wanna say, yo, life's a blessing, man. You know, and yeah, if you could ever learn how to not complain, you know, and I think the only way to do that is to have appreciation, gratitude. I can't, you can't force gratitude on someone. You can never make someone be grateful. You know what I mean? Either they do or they don't, you know? Some people grow up with too much. I was watching a video. This guy was like, yo, what do you fear? Having too much or having too little? He was like, having too much. And he was like, no one cares about the Beverly Hills kids that fucking, they got a couple $1 million or whatever. They're trust fund babies. And no matter what company they start or whatever successes they have, society is going to tell them, yo, that's not even your W. Like, that's your dad's W. So you take a L for life because nothing you have is yours, blah, blah, blah. You know, insecurity of caring what people think. Like, if they didn't have insecurity, they wouldn't even have to worry about that. But he was like, no one has sympathy for those kids. He was like, nor do I expect you to if you come from the ghetto and you're like, yo, fuck you, man. Like, you have $1 million. I wish I had that. You know, the nerve that you have to complain when you have everything that I would ever want. You know what I'm saying? But there's people that probably struggle with appreciation or gratitude, and they wish they had gratitude, but they don't know how to appreciate it because they don't know the alternative of not being rich. You know what I mean? Like, you might tell them, yo, they're starving Nigerians out there, they're starving this, starving that country and this group of people, but it doesn't mean nothing to them because they're unaffected by it because they are not going through it. You know what I'm saying? Like, they could hear it, they could maybe even feel bad for these people, but sometimes certain things don't hit you until you're going through it. Sometimes, it depends on how much empathy and understanding you have, because you don't have to necessarily go through something to understand, which is a big misconception. You just have to fucking understand to understand. To understand, you got to be understanding. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to, like, a lot of people, the misconception is you need to go through exactly what I went through to understand how I would feel. It's like, nah, if you tell me the story with vivid details, I could picture myself being there and picture how I might have reacted. And it might be similar to how you feel. You know what I'm saying? But anyways, I just wanted to open up with that. Anyways, I'm going to get into these dumpster fire lyrics I've been writing. You're going to hate this. Nah, but I'm being hella sarcastic right now. But I was writing to, if you guys look up 44 bars Logic, the first one, he has two of them. He has 44 bars and then he has 44 more. I don't like 44 more. I like the first one. I think the beat was much better. But so yeah, I've been writing some stuff lately. So this one segment, it's like, yo, life is about as short as a candle flickering in the wind. I didn't want to pretend that everything's all legit. When I'm tempted to call it quits, I start thinking of all the things that I didn't accomplish yet, and I feel that my calling is to uplift. So how could I jump ship on these young kids that only want to become rich? I remember when I was young, I would once think the music was about having fun and some dumb things like clubs, chicks, drugs, pills, couple drinks, guns, killings, and abundance and nothing with no substance. Got them locked up in a dungeon with redundant stuff that makes them grow up with a sense of entitlement, thinking that somebody owes them something. If only you believe no one owes you nothing, you'd be free, right? And then, like, it was gonna be another segment after that, and then it transitions into, yo, if my intention isn't pure, then I'm wasting time in the booth. Something would tell me I gotta save the minds of the youth. Yeah, you don't take the time to improve, yet you criticize other people and hate a life that you choose to be living. You can manifest pretty much anything you could envision if you have faith and utilize all of the tools you've been given. You on a mission to prove that it isn't a useless attempt to pursue a dream you knew you could live. Your perception of life, and then it's like, your perception of life is probably hold on, I just wrote this next part, and then it's like, yo, your perception of life is probably basic, locked up inside of a cage humanity locked you away in. You won't understand if I gotta explain it to you, and if you already understand me, then I don't gotta explain it. I love that part, yo. Yeah, it's so true. Like, if I gotta explain shit to you, you still won't get it, probably. You know what I mean? Like, it's always the people that want a comprehensive, deep explanation that once you finish explaining, they fucking still don't understand. So it's like, some people are just not like-minded to, like, even get where you're coming from with certain things. You know what I'm saying? They might not have the capacity. And not that they don't have the capacity, because, like, we could learn understanding. We could learn empathy. We could learn how to fucking get other people, even though we don't think like them. But we could put ourselves there and if you want to, it depends. I think some people just don't want to understand other cultures, religions, and fucking, we spend so much time being disgusted at people that it'll be impossible for you to understand somebody if you're spending all your time being disgusted, saying, well, you shouldn't live like that. You shouldn't do this. You shouldn't, what I'm saying? Instead of trying to hear, like, what's the motivation behind people being a certain way. You know what I'm saying? So anyways, I'll show you some other stuff I've been writing lately. What's up, Ariana? This other part is like, yo, They don't care you declining, but they come when they hear that you rise. And I carefully write this in the laptop. I buried my mind and I'm very enlightened. I never had a scarcity mindset. They think I'm a normal human. They unaware I'm a hybrid. And what I mean is my faith would raise me above the storm that's approaching. I honestly ain't afraid when it comes to other people. The danger's making them run, but to me, nothing could make or break me because I have never been shook. In fact, I'm a rebel that's looking past the situations that be so messed up and looking bad. I'm here to take whatever they said that I couldn't have. I'm reflecting on when my teacher done read me a book in class. I wish you would have explained to me the power of reading. I wish the pastor would have explained the doctrine of Jesus, because we go to church to go to heaven, but not to complete this mission we've been given since the beginning. I was conceived for a bigger reason than me, and I ain't feeling relieved till I discover the reason. My purpose, gotta achieve it. What if an asthma attack today is stopping your breathing and you don't get to see your wife tomorrow? Now we are grieving at your funeral, dressed in black with suits and ties, and we weeping because you had a vision, but when you died, it died with you. We just spent so much time wondering how come people would lie, how come people always inconveniencing us all the time. And like, it was gonna be like some other parts to that. I ain't finished that part yet. So it's just like I'm all over the place. Like when I write in segments and I never know what's gonna connect to what. It's like a fucking puzzle piece. I put it together at the end, you know. And I had some other parts is short. It's like, yo, you ain't a king if someone else gave you a throne, or if you treat your people like they're a slave to your goals. You want power but not the responsibility it brings, which translates to homie, you ain't fit to be a king. Yo, and if you think that we exist to work a 9 to 5, get a pension, then we quit until the day we die feeling miserable within, that's not the way that God intended his people to live, right? And then it was supposed to go into this other segment, which I'll read you right now. But yeah, I wish I could show you, like the phone that I'm on has the beat, and it's not on my other, because I have two phones. It's not on my other phone. I wanted to play the beat. I would have rapped it to you to the beat, but fucking can't right now, so I'm just reading it to you. But yo, you want to hear? You ready to hear the rest of these trash lyrics, man? Like, it gets extra trash after this. If you thought the first part was trash, you're gonna hate this next part. All right, so where's that? Hold on. This is like one of the most complex, like fucking. Well, I write a lot of complicated shit a lot of times, but it's up there with some of the craziest. All right, so it's like, yo, how does this part go? It's like, yo, we be grabbing a gun and getting revenge on those that betrayed us. We rattling under pressure. Yo, that's why, and that's what's happening when you're reckless. I got a story, so please just imagine this for a second. Yo, you pitching cane to a pregnant mother. Her body was left discovered somewhere near the recovery center dumpster. That could have been any one of us, many friends and cousins dead because of a petty thug that be selling drugs. Is there anyone left among us with better stuff to be doing with their time instead of hustling, selling drugs? I get you struggling. You need the money and the rent is coming, but to get a buck, do you have to hustle a deadly substance? When you hella young, I can't tell you nothing because your head is up in the clouds, and I'ma have to bring you back down and tell you, bruh, you were so much better than this. Why you think you can't leave the house without a weapon equipped? Why you think it's normal to not be feeling safe where you live? And in your mind you thinking this is just a regular thing, just another day at the office. I might be slanging drugs, in a couple days I'll be balling. You work from 1 p.m. up to 8 in the morning, but still ain't got enough. Every month you late with the mortgage. That's how he feels in regards to people with jobs. He feels like they're a slave and they all are wasting their time. They have a master that will constantly treat him like property and overworking all of them till the day that they die. Back-breaking work at the plantation. That's crazy. You've been working 30 years and you don't even have savings or have change in your piggy bank saved to buy a glass of lemonade, and your classmates are in the same exact place as you. Translation, you ain't never gonna get back the time that you have wasted. Nobody can change up their past ways. Life always has changes, but if your willingness to adapt phase and you can't stop complaining, then everything cascades into a plethora of bad things that's happening every day. Overdue past payments from last April to May that's overlapping over the past decade. I'm in a bat cave thinking of grand ways to save Gotham. I gotta have faith, but I can't change him. The masked crusader with a black cape and batarangs and a grappling hook that lands gracefully onto the black pavement. Life becomes incredible on the moment you have patience, but some people like a Snapchat story, you can't save them. No matter how many conversations, no matter how many times you try to persuade them. And then it was gonna go from there somewhere else. I don't know where the fuck that one's going, but yeah, man. So I've been writing some bars, son, some trash fucking bars. I just wanted to, get on here and live and show you this trash I've been writing, So hope you appreciate the trash. Anyways, I might show you. Let me see. I'll show you some other stuff that I've been trying to work on. I really like this one though. I wish I could show you to the beat, but like I said, it's not on my other phone. So let me save this. But yeah, man, I gotta start finding some places where I could some pubs and stuff, poetry, fucking places, and just spit, just start showing up, getting my face out there and stuff, But, So this one, I talk about emotions hell a lot. That's pretty much every podcast that I do is the same shit. I mean, if you heard one, you heard most of them, pretty much, I mean, every once in a while I get into new stories and new events that are happening, but it's always the same premise of, not living according, like not letting other people decide how you feel, like regardless of how they act, because most people, they feel how other people around them are acting. You know what I mean? So if other people are completely out of their mind and you're frustrated because they're not, you know what I'm saying? Because they're not within their mind, puts you out of yours, you know what I mean? So, and just being so heavily influenced by other people, and just to a degree, like, we'll always be influenced, but, I think we could put a cap on how much we allow ourselves to be a product of our fucking environment. You know what I'm saying? There's so many people that hate their parents or their relatives or their friends, but yet they're a product of being around them so many damn times. Like, their personality is just like the people that they swear that they hate, and they become so similar to the people that they hate. And it's like, bro, like, why would you hate a quality in a person and then possess the same quality within yourself? Like, it ultimately means either you won't like you eventually, or, you're going to have a lot of people that don't like you and you're going to be wondering why. But it's like you possess every quality that you hate in others and you took that up into yourself, you know what I'm saying? But it happens when we don't have like mentors and people that we look up to and say, yo, I want to be like this person, you know what I mean? Like, and people that are good people, you know what I'm saying, that are not offended, that know how to love, that fucking love their neighbors and shit, and, you know what I'm saying, really trying to do something productive with their life, or they care more than just paying most people live for Friday nights because they get paid, they fucking pay their bills, and then they go either shopping or clubbing, you know what I'm saying, Friday, Saturday, or, you know what I mean, or, some people live for 2.5 days out the week, thank God it's Friday, it's the only time they're thanking God, and it's like, fuck, man, like, everybody's doing that. Like, nobody's talking about purpose. Like, I was thinking the other day, one thing I want to say before I get into showing you some more lyrics that I've been doing, don't get offended when someone doesn't give you advice that you would want to hear. They might not have the capacity to speak to you the way you want to be spoken to. You know what I mean? Because I was thinking the other day, I was like, fuck, man, my parents don't push me to be a purpose-driven person. They push get a fucking job and, find a place to live, and which is cool and all. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with fucking having a job, a place to live, a car, and all that shit. But it's like, yo, outside of that, what the fuck? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I've always wanted, I would have loved it if my parents would have talked to me about purpose, about love, about virtues, qualities, what makes a good person, what makes a bad person, like, these things, those things, if I'm cursing a lot, sorry about that, but those things matter to me, like, a lot, and I don't know if they would have mattered to me as much when I was 15 and 14 and shit, but man, it would have been refreshing to hear something different than, what are you doing when you get out of high school? What are you doing when you get out of college? What are you doing when you get your pension plan? What are you doing after you get your kids? And everything is always like the next, you know what I'm saying? And it's it's so basic to me. Like, I mean, some of these things, like, people are so excited about, which is cool. We all find value in different things. Like, some people, they find so much value in just having a partner or just having a family and stuff. For me, like, I'm so one-track minded. It's like, yo, I just want to do the shit that I was created to do before I fucking die. That's it. Like, if I never get a wife, cool. If I never have kids, cool. Like, whatever. If I do, cool. Like, either way. But that's the one thing I care about. You know what I'm saying? For me, like, and, we're all different, but whatever. But, and I was thinking the other day, I was like, damn, why my parents never told me about purpose and what God wants for my life and what this and what, and I was like, you know what? And then I thought about it. I was like, maybe it's just not within them to speak to me like that, because they don't think about that shit, So how can someone talk to you about purpose when if they don't really think about their own purpose? They might not think about that for you. Most people give advice according to what they would do if they were you. So they might not have the capacity to tell you differently other than what they, you know what I'm saying? Uber drivers will tell you to be an Uber driver. People that work in the medical field will tell you to work in the medical field. People that come from a fucking bank will tell you work in a bank. You see what I mean? So it's like, most people that are in broken relationships, like, they'll give you advice based on their brokenness, and then you might be broken as hell listening to them, you know what I'm saying? Come out just as broken as their relationship is in your relationship. So nah, doing a podcast, but yeah, you want to go to your house now? Mm-hmm. Okay. But yeah, so yeah, I was thinking about that the other day, and people are just in different places, and depending on their mindset, that determines what comes out of their mouth when they're speaking to you. You know what I'm saying? Like, their advice, the shit that they think about, all that, But anyways, let me show you some more dumpster fire trash lyrics I've been writing, and hope you appreciate the trash. So here we go. All right. So I had this one song, right? Because the biggest issue. Let me. Yeah.
Just wipe it.
I could pull it down and yeah. Oh, you want me to do this?
Yeah.
Oh, let me do this. This is better. Hold on. Go clear it. Yeah, it's gonna be hot for a minute, but you know, my biggest issue was fucking like, there was this girl that I used to love more than everybody, more than God, more than my fucking mother, more than my family. She meant everything, like way too much love. It was an obsession, to be honest. And I was out of my mind when I was in that place, but I learned a lot through going through that, right? So I have a song, right, and I'll show you what I've been writing lately. So the chorus, right? The chorus is gonna sound like, yo, I was going insane for so many days. I remember every one of my homies would say, let go of the pain. If you do the right thing, it could be over today. If only you change, you gotta be more than willing just to throw it away. I'm hoping and praying. I was going insane for so many days. I remember every one of my homies would say, let go of the pain. If you do the right thing, it could be over today. If only you change, you gotta be more than willing just to throw it away. I'm hoping and praying, right? So that's the chorus. And it's like, it's a weird song though, because it's like, it'll go fast for the first half and then it goes normal speed for the second half. So I'll show you what I mean. So the first verse, it sounds like, yo, I remember when I stopped. Hold on, give me a second.
Do it, just do the song. You can do your commentary after.
Alright, so it's like, yo, I remember when I stopped honoring her as if she was everything I got. I would treat her like a god, loved her way too much and she was special like a mom. That's the reason that I sobbed for so many years and I never would have been alright if I'd have never took the time to get a little stronger than I was when I was trying to figure it out. Other people telling me to be living without you. When I was down, I was wondering how come when I need her she isn't around. I'ma never be the same, but it's okay because I'll eventually be sane. God will strengthen me today. If I'm uncertain, I gotta take a leap of faith. That's the only way to find out. Everybody telling me to pipe down. This is not a Cinderella story, but eventually you're gonna spend the night out in a ballroom, holding on to the imaginary hands of anybody that will walk through. But it's not a single human present, only every memory that haunts you. And I'm hoping that you could forgive me for the pain that I would always cause you. All the times you send me messages I never will respond to, cause I thought you didn't want any parts of me, so I disregard you. And it's hard to come to terms with, but I realize I'm the reason that I lost you. I don't know if it's a smart move, but I started thinking I should call you. When I'm trying not to think about you, I put on the television watching cartoons. Everybody telling me that I should be moving on, and I know it, but it's hard to. All the evil things I thought of doing to you, but I know it would be wrong too. Dear Lord, I am at your mercy, feeling like I got a bad attorney, cause the person that's supposed to be protecting me be acting like they're really glad to hurt me. I was always feeling sad and worried, but I never really thought it's that concerning. But my mental health depreciating over time, and that is probably why I haven't flourished. Every written poem's meant to magnify the feelings that I wouldn't wish on knowing. Within a moment it could change if only you don't take it personally when you're broken. So I give condolences to anybody that was feeling lonely. I get it, homie, your ship is sunken, now you feel like you're stuck inside of it up in the Pacific Ocean, like a person that be stuck on cigarettes and satisfaction when they finish smoking, but the problems that they try to escape from is there to haunt them till they find a better coping mechanism that they use to fix the issue. Maybe that is how you're gonna get it going. You're sick of going to this dark place in your mind every day, you feeling broken. How can you ever fix it when you're thinking the main component has been missing? That's the reason that you end up in predicaments. Everybody telling you that you're tripping. Nobody could have predicted it. Hold on, then it's like, nobody could have predicted you would be the one that's up in this position, but if you could change the way that you be thinking, that inevitably your situation different. 9 times out of 10, every individual I ever met, I was always blaming everybody for my problems. That's the reason I would never get anywhere in life, because every time that I would try to fix it, I was on a fence. When you blame another man for everything that's wrong with you, then tell me, how can you progress? Other people not the reason I'm a mess. How can I be blaming everything on them? Yeah, I had a personality disorder, but they're not the reason that I'm on the meds. Not everybody's your friend. Everything is slowly coming to an end. Give it everything you got, because if not, eventually you're wishing that you did your best. Back when I started listening to Jim Rohn and all these motivational speakers wishing it, back when I started listening to Jim Rohn and all these motivational speakers showing me my mentality is wrong, wishing to God that I had a magic wand as well as a star I could wish on, and maybe everything in life would be a little better if only I get strong. Yo, back when I started listening to Jim Rohn, all these motivational speakers showing me my mentality is wrong, wishing to God that I had a magic wand as well as a star I could wish on, and maybe everything in life would be a little better if only I get strong. I was going insane for so many days. I remember every one of my homies would say, let go of the pain. If you do the right thing, it could be over today. If only you change, you gotta be more than willing just to throw it away. I'm hoping and praying. I was going insane for so many days. I remember every one of my homies would say, let go of the pain. If you do the right thing, it could be over today. If only you change, you gotta be more than willing just to throw it away. I'm hoping and praying. I used to blame you for everything that was my fault. I blamed you for everything that was my fault. I blamed you for everything that was my fault, as if you were the reason that I'm lost. Used to blame you for everything that was my fault. I blamed you for everything that was my fault. I blamed you for everything that was my fault, as if you were the reason that I'm lost. And then the second verse, then it goes, yo, give me a second. Then it's like, what's up, Natasha? Then it's like, yo, in my living room, in my my living room admitting that I didn't do the things that could have made our friendship last. I was pitiful. Just listen, here's a visual depiction of my miserable existence. Yeah, I've been a fool, wishing you could give it due attention. Here's the bitter truth. Every guy that's into you was twisted. Even then I knew. I figured you would pick a dude that's hitting you. I wish that you would get it. You're thinking too simplistic. You want a happy marriage, but that isn't too realistic. According to statistics, they will tell you how it has to be. Projecting failure, that is how it's been since the beginning. And I never could have had predicted that you would be different. When I thought I knew you, that's when all your principles were switching and your morals change. Everything you get into is different, and so your personality, it isn't too consistent. If you knew to listen, you would switch your views, relive this life that you already lived, and maybe then you do it different. But ain't no time machine to go and fix what you have did, so maybe you could let it go. I know that this is true forgiveness when you do not let your past beat you to submission, because your future's brighter than the things that you have been in. Yeah, the things that you have been in. You say I hate to burst your bubble, and then you would burst it. But if I didn't have expectations, then I'd be perfect. It's a for sure thing, guaranteed it'll be working. You wouldn't be able to make me a miserable person, cause you would no longer disappoint me if I preferred to. Be humble, considerate, and willing to work with you with all the issues of life and things that occurred since when you was birthed into this world. Then you've been searching for a sense of purpose because you didn't deserve this treatment you've been receiving from the people that were in situations making them crazy. Hatred is surging through their veins, and evil's the only thing that's dispersing. I used to say to you that you would get on my nerves when I don't get my way with you. It was making you nervous. I was manipulating you, and your pain it grew worse. Then I'm sorry for treating you like a servant. I've been on the ground, Lou, but tell me, what is it about you? This 20-second song that I've written about you. Always thought I would be miserable living without you. I wanted to be happy, but I just didn't know how to find peace, and that is the reason this was a downward spiral that's spiraling out of control. I'm about to have a panic attack if I don't find a way out through this prison I've been sitting in ever since I done found you. I was willing to say anything if it'll sound cool, just to please you, because I need you when I'm around you. I shouldn't love you more than my savior. This is the ground rules. My friends have told me your love for her is beginning to cloud you. I used to blame you for everything that was my fault. I blamed you for everything that was my fault. I blamed you for everything that was my fault, as if you were the reason that I'm lost. Used to blame you for everything that was my fault. I blamed you for everything that was my fault. I blamed you for everything that was my fault, as if you were the reason that I'm lost. So that's another thing I've been working on. Super trash, right? I'm saying though, like, but anyways, that's why I talk about emotions every fucking podcast, because emotions, my lack of being able to maintain my emotions was kicking my ass throughout life for like fucking years. Like, you know, it was always my fault that I felt it was always someone else's fault that I feel a certain way. Like, you know what I'm saying? That's why I'm so passionate about talking about that shit. And that's just kicking everybody's ass. Yo, when you look around, when people get angry, it's always because of failed expectations, someone not living up to a standard that you set in your mind for how you think others should behave. And I realized, like, none of that shit is my business. You know what I mean? A lot of things is between you and God. Like, you know, like I could always have a conversation with you or how you could be doing better. But for me to hover over you and take on your burden as if it's my load to carry and fucking have so much anxiety about the life you choose to live. Because like, if there is a God, like, you know what I'm saying? I know that there is. But when we stand before him, like, you know, whatever you got to deal with is what you got to deal with. You know what I'm saying? And what can I do to change people? You know, like when it comes to conversion, like whatever we're a part of, or whatever we got going on, you know, some people are vegans, some people are hella religion, some people turn veganism into a religion, some people are health freaks and they try to, like, you know what I'm saying, impose that, like, you know, but what's the point I was getting to? I forgot. Yeah, so everyone seems to like have an agenda with whatever they're, you know what I'm saying? You got to realize, sometimes your message, people don't fucking want it. They don't want your veganism. They don't want your Christianity. They don't want your Muslim. They don't want fucking none of that shit you got going on. You know what I'm saying? And you got to just respect that and move on. You know, sometimes when it comes to converting other people, we try to plant the seed. You try to water it. You try to force the fucking plant to come out of the ground. Like, like what part are you going to leave for God to do? You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, so all I'm doing now is just planting seeds. You know what I'm saying? Like, and somebody else waters it probably. Sometimes I water it, you know, but I just believe that God's going to provide the increase, you know what I'm saying? Like, so it takes a huge burden off of me, you know what I'm saying? I used to meet a lot of promiscuous, like, girls, and I was worried about, the way they choose to live, and it's like, like, what am I going to do? Make a girl not be promiscuous? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so it's just... So, I used to be like, man, why you live like that? I just come to the conclusion, people live like however the fuck they live because they want to, ultimately. And people do what they want to do. Sometimes what they want to do doesn't make sense according to your standard, but people don't live according to your standard, you know what I'm saying? So they live according to whatever rules they got set for themselves, and you know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying that any of that is right or wrong. I'm just saying that people choose how they're going to live, like, you know what I'm saying? Free will and stuff. And You know, nothing wrong with, you know. So one thing I learned though, no matter how messed up people are, like for me, I just want to love people. However, like, 'cause some people, like, we try to motivate others to be better, and it's like as if we would love them more when they're at their perfect form, you know what I'm saying, or when they're living up to all that they could be, you know what I'm saying. And it's like, yo, I'm not living up to all that I could be, and God doesn't withhold his love from me, so why do we put so much pressure on people to fucking elevate themselves before we love them as much as we, like, you know, we think, you know what I'm saying. It's like, so yeah, that's why I stopped viewing people as a piece of shit. I stopped viewing people as disgusting. I stopped viewing people, because yo, that shit ruins my day. If I spend my time being disgusted with you, it doesn't elevate my life, and it does nothing for you. You know what I'm saying? Now both of our days are going to be ruined, because the way I'm gonna speak to you, because of the way I view you, you know what I'm saying, it's gonna make both of us have attitudes. Because I'm gonna talk to you funny, you're gonna respond funny, and now we both having a weird ass day just because I can't view you the way that God does, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, and if God viewed me like that, I'd have no fucking hope at all. Like, you know what I'm saying? If God was only capable of seeing me for what he's disgusted by, I would have no hope. So I was like, yo, if I do that to people, you know, I'm making it so that they don't have hope, because the rest of the world is viewing them like that. So it makes me no different if I see them just like everybody else does, you know what I mean? So that's why every podcast I talk about the same stuff. Give me 1 second. Hold on.
I'm gonna get out. I'm gonna grab some stuff. I'm
Sure.
gonna drive to my boyfriend's, and I'm gonna stay there, and then you can drive. You can
All right. Yep.
do whatever from there.
Should I park
So I
here?
don't know if you want to start. If you start your shift, what happens? Or do you want to push it back half an hour to 1?
Oh,
This is
thanks.
12:30.
Yeah, thanks for telling me. Yo, give me a second, guys. I gotta do something real quick.
More of into oncoming traffic.
You better move.
Stupid.
Drive safely is how they better react.
I should be able to get out here.
Yeah, go ahead. All right, yo, all right. So I'm back. So yes, so that's some of the stuff I've been working on lately, and yeah, man. Like, I'm so glad that I'm on top of my fucking emotions, dude. Because that shit, it fucks with all of us, man. You know, this whole blaming other people for how you feel, that shit is corny, man. I'm never living like that again. You know what I'm saying? If other people want to live like that, then by all means, what can I do to change a person? Nothing. All I could do is have a conversation and try to inspire as many people as I can. But as for me, I'm done living like that. I'm done blaming people for how I feel. You know what I'm saying? Like, and having such a, you know what I'm saying? Like, having such a standard that I set on other people's life as if they're here to please me or live up to according to my standard, you know? And some of you might be like, oh, it's not my standard that I'm upholding or making other people uphold. It's God's standard. It might be God's standard, but you're the fucking one imposing it on people and making people feel uncomfortable. And you know what I'm saying? Every time you come around, because like, yo, ultimately, everybody brings joy to a room. Either people are excited that you joined the room, that you just entered the room, and they can't wait to see you, or you bring joy to a room by leaving it, and everybody's fucking celebrating that you left because no one likes you, you know what I'm saying? Because you're so religious about whatever you're religious about, whether it's actually like God that you're religious about, or food, or dietary plans, or supplements, or network marketing, you know what I'm saying? I've had some network marketers inbox me and block me because I refuse to join their business. I'm like, bruh, I met you 2 days ago. Like, you know what I'm saying? What makes you think I'm going to care about anything you got going on? And that's the selfish nature of people. We only hit each other up when we need some shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, when you need cash. You know, my friend, I was talking to, man, I was about to say your name. I'm not going to say your name. I got to keep, you know what I'm saying? But anyways, I was talking to somebody recently within the last like 5 days. And he was telling me about some girl he just met at the club. And he was like, yo, I don't even know this girl. She's hitting me up, asking for money and stuff. But he was like, but she never wanted to talk to me though. She never wanted to have a conversation. She never wanted anything from me. You know what I'm saying? But now that she needs something, she knows exactly how to find me. You know, she knows exactly how to ask me for gas money, ask me for, you know what I'm saying? And I know he's probably feeling like, yo, like, I didn't want anything from you then. I just wanted to have a conversation. I just wanted to be friends or whatever, you know? And you got to understand, people will give you so much more if you've been friends for like 5-10 years and you actually have a bond and you don't come around just when you need a fucking loan, man. Like your friend's a bank or something, you know? You know, so yeah, like, you know, and we do that to God all the time. A lot of us do, you know, but a lot of humans, there's so much, it's only so much that humans will tolerate because of the rules that they have for themselves, where they draw lines in the sand and say you're cut off because like all you do, you don't contribute nothing to this relationship. You just come to take something. You don't come to give me anything. You know what I'm saying? And you know, humans typically are very transactional. You know, it's like, if I'm doing something for you, what the hell am I getting in return? Like, this is why I know a lot of women, you don't like taking fucking jewelry from men, or like nice things, because they try to use it as a manipulation tactic to say, now you owe me this, or now you know what I'm saying? So it's like you don't even take the gift because you don't want to deal with whatever manipulation tactic they had up their sleeves in regards to like, oh, now you could do this for me now that I did that for you. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, so yeah, man. And even with that, I realized, yo, like, you're not a giver if you do that shit. You're a manipulator. You know what I'm saying? When you give, you don't care. It's hard to be taken advantage of when you're not expecting anything in return. Like if I just give you whatever I have to offer you, like, and if I'm not expecting anything in return, I won't even have the audacity to be bitter. Now that you're doing good in life financially and you don't give me nothing, I won't even have the mentality to even think about that shit. I'm gonna be like, so what if you're doing good in life and you don't feel like paying me back the $2,000 or whatever? You know what I'm saying? Because if I really gave it out of my heart, why am I coming back to you reminding you of 1,000 things I did? It's proof that it didn't fucking come from my heart. It was a fucking loan, you know what I'm saying? Plus interest probably. You know, we're so transactional with everything that we do. That's why so many of us, we don't want to love people because we're like, yo, we're scared to love because we don't know if we're going to get loved. So everything's about what can I get? What can I get? So I realized that's why, you know what I'm saying? You know, that's why, like, around Christmas time, I always heard it's better to give than to receive. And that shit used to fuck with me as a kid. I was like, why? Why is it better? Like, that's corny. Like, I don't want to give. I want to receive, but I ain't trying to give nothing. You know, and I realized if I withhold from this universe all the things that I have to give, then the universe withholds from me all that it has to give. You know what I mean? Giving starts the process of receiving. Like being a nice person, people don't want to be a nice guy because being a nice guy's feeling class. And we believe that shit. So no one wants to, you feel like you got to step on people's toes to get ahead or whatever. So, you know what I'm saying? So it makes people be all types of messed up. You know, and then they don't realize that they're sowing seeds of destruction that they're gonna reap a harvest of. You know what I'm saying? So, yo, some of us, we sow seeds that we're mad at what comes out of the ground. It's like, you know, if you plant a fucking orange tree, are you surprised that you got oranges now? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so just sow seeds of positivity if that's what you want to receive, if that's what you know what I'm saying? Some of us have the nastiest attitudes with people and we expect them to just, you know, not step out of line. It's like, bro, as soon as you stepped out of line, there was a chance that they was going to do it right back to you because not only are we transactional, we're very reciprocal. Whatever energy someone's giving you, the temptation to want to give that energy back is going to arise really quick. And I'm not saying that you got to listen to every temptation that you get in your head, but I understand how the brain works, how humans work. You know what I'm saying? I get that. You know what I'm saying? The ego in you, the pride in you, it might spark a flame in the pride in someone else, you know? So if you're prideful about something, it's just going to ignite someone else's pride about whatever, you know what I'm saying? Like, so anyways, so yeah, I had a lot of songs about just being sad, dude, being emo as hell and just being down in the dumps over some damn girl that could give a fuck if I lived or died, you know what I mean? And it was just all failed expectations, you know, just expected so much from people. I used to look at what I'm doing for people and in comparison to what I'm receiving back. And I used to be like, yo, these figures don't add up. Like, I'm giving you all this shit and I'm receiving this little from you. What the hell? Like, that's not, you know what I'm saying? And I used to try to mandate that people like fucking give me what I give them. And that's like, yo, I can't do that to you. You know what I'm saying? And I realize just because I'm giving you something that I think is valuable, you might not perceive it as valuable. You know what I'm saying? Like what might be a gourmet dinner for me that I'm buying for you, you might view it as a bag of potato chips and have zero appreciation and gratitude for, which is none of my business. Like, that's between you and God. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, and you know, and usually we criticize that because we're so disgusted by that, because we feel like we haven't been served. We feel like, shit, if I could go out of my way to buy a meal for you, the least you could do is say thank you. No, you know what the least somebody could do for you is? Fucking nothing. That's the least. You want to know what the least someone could do for you is? Nothing. Not a thank you is something. When you say that's the least that you could get is a thank you, that's not the least. The least is absolutely nothing, which is what you received. You know what I mean? So what you're saying is you want to receive a little bit more than what you did, which was not the least. You know what I mean? Like, which was the least, which was nothing. You know what I'm saying? But you're saying, yo, like, if I'm going to give you this, then I have to get this, you know? And it's just shit that we don't do out of the kindness out of our hearts. You know what I'm saying? It's things that we do out of the consideration of our expectations being met by other people. You know what I'm saying? So just a lot of, yo, all the shit that I know now that I just didn't know, man. I didn't have like mentors to tell me this shit. That's why I podcast and do this. And you know what I'm saying? Because I don't know if you guys got mentors or people that, you know what I'm saying, or someone you could look up to, or so yeah, man, I always try to be that person in someone's life that, you know, people might have not been for me. Like, You know, like I had a brother that was hell of aggressive, fucking having a conversation with him, like just because we think so different, he would get so triggered by me thinking differently than him, you know? So I have a nephew that I view him as a brother, and I made sure to myself, I was like, I'm never gonna pass off that negative ass energy to him. You know what I'm saying? Like that's like my brother, like my nephew. You know what I'm saying? Like I try to be the bigger brother to him, because he doesn't even have a brother, but I try to be the bigger brother to him that I wish I had growing up. You know what I mean? And exude nothing but positive energy. Everything is, you know what I'm saying? And not that life is all peaches and roses and shit, but yo, one thing about life, it does get better when you have a positive attitude about shit. I just paid $600 in tickets and I don't give a damn. Like, you know how many people would have been sad about that? Like, yo, I just started working and I got to pay off $600 of tickets, bro. You know what you know how money doesn't give me anxiety, by the way? Because I practice doing this. I take the number and I put the word just in front of it. J-U-S-T. It's just $600. It's just $10,000. It's just $1 million. Yo, when you do that, it diminishes the bigness of it. It doesn't seem so fucking big to you anymore. And then money is not fucking Lord and Savior of your life anymore, because you're like, you use the word just. And I don't just say that. First of all, I know that I'm worth more than whatever debt that I have. You know what I'm saying? I know my potential net worth is worth so much more than my debt, you know? So that alone, like, I really believe that shit. You know what I'm saying? I really believe that one day, you know, God willing, if I get to live till I'm 50, that's more than enough time to me figure out how I'm gonna be a millionaire and have a lot of money and shit, and, you know? And, so yeah, anyways, I just wrote song on top of song on, you know, like on these one lyrics that I read to you recently, the one where it was like, you know, I've been on the ground, Lou, but tell me, what is it about you? This is a 20-second song that I've written about you. Fucking 20, it's probably more than that, to be honest. But I was like, you know, that's a lot of songs about one person, you know what I'm saying? I was so sad because I'm not getting what I think I deserve from a person in return. And it's like, yo, why do I have a sense of entitlement? Why do I think she owes me anything in return? Just because I give her love doesn't mean that she's now obligated to give me shit. And now I believe that. Like, now, no matter what goodness I bring to this world, I don't believe any of you owe me shit. If you're my mom, if you're my brother, if I've known you for 20 years, no expectations. You know what I'm saying? That's how I live. And I can't explain to you how liberated I am from the emotions that used to kick my ass, like, all out throughout life, because I was always giving and then wanting, always a wanting person, never fulfilled. You know what I mean? Like, you know, and always needing to be loved, to be appreciated, to be, you know what I'm saying? And now it's like, yo, the God of the universe thinks highly of me, you know? Like, if you're Christian, like, you believe that God, you know, he let his son get crucified for you, so that he let his son die so that you could come alive. You know what I'm saying? That means that you're not trash. That means that you're not worthless. That means that you're not, there's so many people that they think because they were conceived accidentally that they don't deserve to be here, because the condom broke and that's how you got here, that you're not supposed to, bro, there's a time to be born, and, you know, your birth did not surprise God. Your birth might have surprised your father. It might have surprised your mom. She ain't expect to have you, but you're here now, you know what I'm saying? And God's not surprised by you being here. Like, yo, everybody's life has value, you know what I'm saying? And so I just view people like that. No matter how disgusting your behavior is, I'm not even going to give myself permission to judge you according to that, because you always have potential to change, to be better than what you are. You know what I'm saying? Because the person, when you're disgusted at people, it's not even them you're disgusted with. It's a mediocre version of them. They're not living up to their full like potential of what they could be if they gave a damn about their potential. They're not even, most people don't even get to like probably 27% of all that they could be. So when you're disgusted with a person, it's the mediocre version of them that you're disgusted with. Like, I told you stories on previous podcasts where my stepdad would come home at 12 in the morning, 1 in the morning, and if somebody was in his parking spot, it doesn't matter who he's inconveniencing. Like, I'm waking up the whole fucking household. Like, you know, he would call me, call my mom. Somebody's got to move their vehicle. And I don't know if it was a pride thing. Like, I'm the man of the house. I'll be damned if I park in a guest parking spot when I pay rent here. It might have been a pride thing. I don't know. But, you know what I'm saying? Like, if I had a mentality where I would get disgusted by that type of behavior, that's not even him that I'm frustrated with. It's a mediocre version of him, you know what I'm saying? Because the best version of all of us would never care about a parking spot so much that we'd wake up a whole household to possess it. You know what I'm saying? None of us would fucking do that if we was living up to half of what we could be. I believe that, you know what I'm saying? So that's why I don't even get mad at people no more, man, because it's not the person that I'm mad at. It's the mentality that they're possessed with that dictates the course of their actions. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, most people are, you know what a person is? Their fucking perspective. That's what they are. Because through their perspective, it determines their actions. It determines the words, the way they speak, the way they talk to you, the way they behave is based on the way they think. A man is what he thinks about all day. And if he would change the way he thinks, he'd change the way he lives. And that's why in the Bible, it talks about, you know, dying to yourself and becoming a new creation. Because once you die to yourself, like it means, you know, like the purpose of baptism, and I didn't know this when I first got baptized, but you're supposed to go into that water a dead person and come up alive unto Christ, having Christ-like mentality, personality, character, you know what I'm saying? Like his virtues, his strength, the way that he would respond to life is the way that you respond now. You know what I'm saying? Because most people are walking corpses and don't even know it. Like you're dead man walking until you die to yourself, because that's the only way to live, is to first die metaphysically, spiritually, and then come alive unto the, you know, the personality that you was meant to have, the way that you were supposed to, you know what I'm saying? There's a lot of ways to look at life. There's not too many optimal ways to look at life. There's not too many positive ways to look at life. You know what I'm saying? But it's a lot of ways you could look at it, you know? Like I read this one quote that was like, yo, you could either be sad, that every rose has a thorn, or you could be happy that every thorn has a rose. You know what I'm saying? Like same scenario, just inverted. You know what I'm saying? Half glass full, half glass empty. You know, why would the same measure of a cup mean two different things to two different people? Because one person looks at half a cup and sees scarcity. He sees what he doesn't have. And then the other person, you know, he probably just glad he has a glass of water, whether it's half or it has a couple ounces. He's like, yo, fuck it, I got water, dude. Like, you know, so it's crazy how the same measure means two different things to two people. It depends on how you think, you know? So anyways, damn, I didn't know so many people was on here. Yo, I appreciate all you guys listening, and I hope I'm bringing value. And I might show you one more song, but yo, if I ever sat down with one of you guys and showed you how many songs I got about me being sad about a damn person not loving me or responding to me the way I think they should, bro, it was nothing but failed expectation. Every song, when I go through my old lyrics and I read it, I see how messed up I was, and I see exactly what was making me sad. It wasn't the biggest problem I've ever had in my life. It was never another person. It was always me. I'm my biggest stumbling block. My biggest problem is not even the fucking devil. You know what I'm saying? Because he only uses what I give him, right? He's only gonna use what you give him. So he's not even your biggest problem. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, like, so, because if the devil was the biggest problem, bro, then nobody would get to heaven, you know? So if there's some people that's going to turn out victorious in the end, that means there is a way to prevail. That means there is a way to not fucking, you know what I mean? Not live under your potential, way beneath it. You know what I'm saying? It is possible to hear the enemy's voice and not follow what he's telling you to do. You know what I'm saying? Like, but it takes, you know, discipline. It takes wanting to, it takes, you know, so I don't know, man. Like some of us, we get so offended, we get so mad at people, and just offense itself is such a self-righteous thing. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, just, you know, like, I don't know, bro. I don't think God is easily offended, you know, because if not, Jesus wouldn't die on the cross for a bunch of people that, you know, if God was easily offended, he'd be in heaven, like, he'd be still considering whether or not he wants to send his son or not. Because he'd be like, I don't know if these damn people deserve this. Because he would be looking at everything you're doing that would disgust a typical person and use that as an excuse not to want to send Jesus to die for you, because he doesn't see you for how much he loves you. He only sees you for how you missed the bar and you don't live up to what you could be. And he only finds himself frustrated with where you're not, instead of trying to call you to where you could be. You know what I mean? So that's the power of seeing people for what they could be, man. Like, because when you see a man for what he is, you make him worse than what he is. When you see a man for what he could be, you promote him to what he should be, you know? So all these little things that I learned, man, they're just such a blessing for me to know these things now, you know, because I didn't know them before, and I suffered because of it. You know, there's a scripture in the Bible that says, my people perish for a lack of understanding, and all you're getting, get more understanding, you know? So it was understanding that I didn't have, in terms of, you know, because the way I understood things was, if I do something for you, you should do something for me. But a better understanding says, why would I even have a sense of entitlement? Like, why do you owe me something now that I did something for you? That doesn't make me a giver. That makes me a manipulator. Like, you know, so like little things, man, I just had no idea, you know? So, but it's such a blessing to know these things now. But, you know, anyways, but I wrote song after song crying about stupid stuff, man. I mean, it meant everything to me at the time, but now it's like, dang, why was I so damn weak and emotionally, like, you know? And then I used to like think that I'm supposed to be that way. Like, some of us have messed up personalities and we think God made us messed up. It's like, no, bro, you became messed up. You like, you know what I mean? The world made you that way. Like, You know, like you grew up around a bunch of messed up people, and you've inhibited their fucking personality traits into yourself, and now you're a product of everyone you hung around with, you know, and now you're just as messed up as they are. Because you know usually who mentors us? The people who are less qualified to mentor us, they mentor us indirectly. You don't even know you're being mentored, you know, by the people you hate, by the people you know what I'm saying? I said this once on a podcast where, you know, when you hate a bunch of people and you get a phone call to go, you get a phone call to go to a party, right? And then you're like, who's gonna be there? And then your friend starts listing off 3 to 4 or 5 people that you dislike, you know, and then you're like, nah, I'm not showing up. Now other people that you don't like, they're dictating what parties you fucking go to and don't go to, you know what I'm saying? Because you can't get over how disgusted you are with somebody, you know? It's like, and so for me, like, I'm not gonna live like that, you know? That's why I just want to love everybody. I don't want to get to the point where I'm so self-righteous in my judgment towards you that I dislike you so much that I want to go to an event, but I don't know, this fucking person is there, so I don't know anymore. You know, and it's like you're indirectly dictating what the course of my day. That's crazy. Like, so I don't know. Like, so whoever wants to live like that, cool. But for me, man, I want to try, and I'm not gonna get along with anyone. Like, some people just gonna hate you no matter what, man. People walked away from God. You think people won't walk away from you? Like, so some people, no matter how good you do, no matter what, like, you're gonna be hated. It's nothing. You can't get everybody to like you. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, this is a song I want you to listen to. You know, if you guys don't mind writing this down, Logic. It's called Confessions of a Dangerous Mind. And in this song, it just reminds me why I never really, like, cared about people's opinions. Because I see people who care so much about what people think of them, and they suffer every day because they're always trying to live up to a bar that keeps getting raised. And it's just impossible to please every person. You know what I'm saying? You're going to lose yourself in the process of trying to please everyone else. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, man, sometimes you got to follow what's in your heart, what you know, what you feel like you was called to do, what you feel like, you know, and no one's gonna understand your vision. Your vision was given to you. It's for you to understand, you know? So when you have a dream that fucking makes no sense to someone else, that's fine. Like, you know, like, and don't even get mad at their lack of understanding. Maybe they're just not meant to understand. They don't have the capacity to get you right now. You know what I'm saying? And just go become all that you know you're capable of. Go get massive results and then come back. You know what I'm saying? And because it's a whole different ball game if I tell you I'm going to build an empire, that's one thing. It gives you a lot of space to call bullshit. Yeah, everyone's claiming they're going to build empires. But when I fucking build one and then I stand in front of it and I point behind me like, yo, look at what I just built. Like, you know what I'm saying? Actions speak louder than words. So if you have a bunch of people doubting you, that's because there's so many announcers. You know what I mean? We're more dedicated to announcing our plans than we are to fucking executing on them. And people know that. That's why when they hear your bullshit announcements, they're like, yo, you're not going to do shit. You know what I'm saying? And that might discourage you. Like, yo, how come these people don't believe in me? And you know, don't take it personal. They observe so many people that make announcements that do nothing about the stuff they announce, that they just feel that you're just like those people. You know what I'm saying? Like, we categorize shit very quickly. You know what I'm saying? Like, you meet a person, all of a sudden they remind you of like 10 people you already know. Like, you know what I'm saying? You put them in a box, or somebody says something slightly offensive that reminds you of your ex-boyfriend that used to beat you, and you instantly categorize that person into being just like them. You know what I'm saying? And that's just, you know, that's how we think, like, a lot of the times, you know? So anyways, so
the light is green. Why are we not moving?
Yeah, damn, I'm at 55%.
This is what happens when you drive so close to people you can't even go around them.
Yeah. I'm actually screen recording right now, and I'm gonna send you a message to some people who will listen. I appreciate that, man. Thanks, Mano. I'm glad you like the content, man. Appreciate it. So yeah, man. Anyways, I used to be so emo, dude. Like, you know what I'm saying? I was a couple days away from wearing black mascara and shit. Like, I was that emo. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, like, I was so sad every day, man, and it was always someone else's fault. So, like, that's why every podcast is about emotions. It's about how to control your emotions, how to not be a product of what people are doing incorrectly to you. Like, you know what I'm saying? Forgiveness, like, how to let shit go. Like, you know, goals. You know, I always talk about, yo, if you had 10 minutes to live, there's very very little things that would matter. You know what I'm saying? You know, like, I challenge you to think of 25 things that would actually matter if you had 10 minutes to live. You know what I'm saying? The things that you would instantly think about, damn, I didn't get to accomplish this, or I didn't get to become this, or, you know what I'm saying? And it's never too late to become who you could have been. You know what I'm saying? Like, there'd be like 79-year-olds thinking that they don't have time, and they might just have another 20 years. They might have another 15. But, you know, sometimes we get old as hell and we think we have 10 days left, and it's like, bro, like, how do you know? Like, you know what I mean?
I forgot where I was going.
Oh, it's okay. You know now, though, right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I'm driving like I'm going back to work.
Yeah, so, anyways. So, yeah, man, I had nothing but entitlement, disappointment because of my entitlement. It wasn't even because people were letting me down, because I stopped setting standards. Like, who am I to say how you should live? Like, you know what I'm saying? I mean, God has his Bible, you know, you could live according to it, or you could go the other direction. That's your privilege, you know. But for me to try to mandate any of that, it's like, bro, like, I'm gonna just try to love you, you know, because I've seen love change people. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about in a way where it changes you more than words could. We try to convince people to be differently. I've seen a guy change I've seen a guy love his mom into changing. That shit sounds crazy, but he didn't lecture her. He didn't conversate with her. She was very poisonous with the way that she would speak to him. Like, you know, she would drive him to work and then drive him back. And every day it was just arguing the whole way there, the whole way back. And all he did was say, Mom, I love you. Going to work now. I can't wait to see you. That shit changed her, yo. Like 3 months later, she came back to him crying, saying, you know, like, thank you, man. Thank you for loving me. I wasn't being very lovable, but you loved me anyways. You know, and you know why that stuck with her on her conscious mind? Because when she would sit up late at night in her room, she's like, damn, I'm putting out all this poisonous energy and he's not responding the way that I am. It forced her to reflect on her own shit, because he never once said, your attitude sickens me. You need to change. I fucking hate the way you are. That's why I don't like you. That's why I don't come around you. He ain't doing none of that. He just said, I love you. I can't wait to see you when I come home, and I hope you have a good day. And just kept being loving, and she fucking changed. And he never suggested a change either. She just changed. His love for her changed her. You know what I'm saying? Like her conscious mind bears witness against her. So when she would reflect on her own life, she's like, man, I'm not getting none of the energy I'm getting. So I must be the problem, because every time I spaz on him, he's loving. Every time I spaz on him, he says, you know, I love you. Can't wait to see you. Gives me a big hug anyways. And he's not letting my actions dictate how he feels, how he behaves, what his response is. You know what I'm saying? And it just completely, she's a different person now. You know what I'm saying? I've seen love do that to people. Love is crazy, man. It's amazing, you know. And we spend a lot of our time lecturing people into them changing, and you know, and sometimes people might not have the mindset to even receive what you're saying. They don't even have the mentality to get where you're coming from right now. But that's just for right now. But you know, but you don't give up hope and lose faith in who they could be. You still pray on their, you still intercede on their behalf. You still pray to God about them. You still love them. You know what I'm saying? You know how many fathers, if they find out their daughter's a porn star, all of a sudden she's not invited to the family barbecue anymore? And it's like, bro, when your daughter's a porn star, that's the last time that she needs you to stop being her father. But that's the first.
And they kick them out.
Yeah, but that's the first time their fathers will disown them. Oh yeah, and if they get pregnant too, it's like, yo, that's the last straw, you know? You know why fathers do that? Because they're too busy being fucking destroyed by his daughter's actions to even be a father to her. He's too busy being hurt. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, when your daughter fucks up, she doesn't need you to be so hurt. She needs you to be strong and loving and look past that and know that even though she fucked up, she has amazing potential. Even though she's living a million miles from it. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's how Jesus looked at people. That's why there's a scripture in the Bible that says, you know, where there was a promiscuous woman and a group of men took her to Jesus and they said, what shall you have us do with this woman? Because according to the old times, she would have got stoned to death. And Jesus simply said, he that's without sin cast the first stone. And everybody knows they're guilty of something, so they were forced to walk away, drop their rocks and left. So even that girl, even if she was being a prostitute or a promiscuous woman or whatever the hell she was, I don't know how many men she was sleeping with, but none of that mattered to him because he didn't see her for what typical people would be disgusted by. He saw her for what she could be. And that was the love that gave her a chance, because if it were up to those men, if Jesus wasn't there, according to them, they would have stoned her to death. And we're still doing that to each other. And sometimes physically with actual stones, but with words, man. Like, you know, I've had people that I tell them about my past and maybe some sick things that I might have did in the past. And they stop my story to tell me what was wrong with you. What were you thinking? And it's like, yo, this happened 10 years ago. Like, you know, like, it's like, can I finish my story? They'll intercede into my story to say, what were you thinking at this point? What were you? And it's not even like because they're curious. It's just because they're judging the story. They're judging my mentality and how I should have known better. And it's like, yeah, well, maybe I should have known better. It doesn't change the fact that I did differently than what I should have known. You know what I'm saying? And now that it's happened, I'm fucking like, what do you want me to do? Get into my time machine and fix what I should have did? Like, you know what I'm saying? So I can't fix that shit. But people would stop the story and tell me, yo, you should know better. And it's like, I get that, fucking genius, but like, I didn't. Like, so what do you want me to do? Like, you know, so I don't know, man. I get it, man. Where people are in bad mental places that sometimes it just, your mindset dictates the pace of your actions, man. So if you never get your mind right, that's why if you never get your mind right, you'll never get your life right, because the life that you live is based on the thoughts that you have, the way you think. You know what I'm saying? So like, you know, so yeah, I just started working, going through all types of shit. Had 2 minor car accidents, had to pay $600 in tickets, you know, fucking sleeping in my car. My lifestyle bothers everybody but me. I'm chilling. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I have hope in a better future. I know that I'm going to be okay. I know that one day I'll have a lot of money. This shit is giving everybody anxiety besides me. And I want to like talk to them, but you know, some people, I just, you know, not that I can't speak to them, but I'm gonna have to get the results that I know I'm capable of getting, and then come back to them and talk to them like, yo, this is why. Now that I have all these fucking results, here's why I was chilling when I was sleeping in my car. Here's why I was chilling when I had $600 worth of fines, 2 minor car accidents, just started working and paying all my money that I just started making in tickets, and don't give a fuck because I know there's a huge future in front of me, to the point where when I get to it, I'm going to be laughing at today. Today's not going to matter. You know what I'm saying? When my bank account looks how I know that it could potentially, man, you think I'm going to care that I'm $45,000 in debt for medical field and cardiovascular ultrasound? I'm not going to care about none of that. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm capable of making all of that up. You know what I'm saying? So it's that belief system that keeps me sane. Oh, don't worry about it. It's that belief system that keeps me sane. It keeps me okay. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, so I don't know, man. When it comes to anxiety, we're always obsessed with worst case scenario, man. And that just, it makes us, you know, makes us panic. You know, the mind can't tell the difference between something you vividly imagine and something you're actually experiencing. And that's why when your kid spends the night at somewhere else, and let's say they were supposed to come home at 10 o'clock, it's 10:15, and now you're vividly imagining all the gruesome shit that potentially could have happened to him. Your mind doesn't know the difference between them actually getting executed by somebody in the street and it actually happening. Because for as long as you're imagining it as if it is, to you, there's no difference. That's why you feel the panic of it happening as if it is happening, and it's not, because your mind makes it real. You know what I'm saying? Like, so that's why, you know, so I don't know, man. I'm not obsessed with worst case scenario. There's a lot of shit. Yo, when I'm sleeping in my car, someone could take me out for no reason, just because, like, you know, all types of shit could happen, bro. That's why I got to make sure I'm right with God, man. Like, you know, I got to make sure that whatever, I don't know when I'm going to die. So, like, I got to make sure that I have as much impact as I can and do what I can while I'm here. You know what I'm saying? Because some people die in the womb. Some people die at 5, 20. You know what I'm saying? My best friend died on a Friday, man. I know he had a Saturday planned out, his Sunday planned out. He didn't get to see the next fucking week. He had his next 10 years planned out, probably. You know what I'm saying? Like, at any moment, that could be us. And, like, you know, like, so life could be over really quick, and we spend all our time caring about rumors, who's gossiping about us, who's talking shit, why are they talking shit. When I see you, it's on site and I'm punching you in your face because you have no right to talk about me. But you know what I'm saying? It's stupid shit. It's like, bro, what are you gonna control conversations to happen when you're not around? You have no control over that. If people have nasty shit to say about you, with or without your permission, they're saying it. You know what I'm saying? So, like, all that stuff that I learned now, that's why I just let shit go, bro. Like, because I have no control over these things. I just let it be. You know what I'm saying? And I pray for these people that are doing whatever. You know what I'm saying? I pray for them to realize what matters and what doesn't, and to focus their time more efficiently on goals and being productive and doing things that God would like to have them do. You know what I'm saying? Those things. And then just keep it pushing. That's all I could do. So, you leaving? It's good seeing you. See you maybe.
Pause it?
No. Still on. I was saying bye to you.
I'm alone.
It's good seeing you. Take care. But so yeah, man. Anyways.
Oh my god.
Any help? Also, you got your scissors?
Yeah.
Okay. Take care. Alright, my bad. See you later.
I'm missing a bag though. Like,
yeah.
Target bag. Yep. Thank you.
Anything else? Alright, you guys. I was just saying bye to my sister. So yeah, man. Like, you know, I hope, you know what I'm saying something that's worth your time listening to, man. You know, the whole cursing shit, I'm working on that. I gotta chill with that, that's for sure. Like, I'm not proud of that, so I gotta, because some people, they won't even be capable, all that positive, good stuff that I might have just said, all that stuff that might change somebody's life, there's people that won't hear it because I cursed 22 times, and they actually counted, and they're so busy being offended by that they can't receive a message that could forever change their life for the better, because they only see shit for what disgusts them. They can't see things for, that's why for me, I only listen for value. I listen for not your tonality, not how offensive you're sounding. are you saying something valuable? And that's what I absorb. I throw all the other shit out. You know what I'm saying? Like, my mind has a filter. When somebody tells me, Rob, go kill yourself, you know what I'm saying? That's not something noteworthy. That's not something I'll put in a notepad. Like, oh man, those are such inspiring words. I need to write that shit down and use it for future reference. Like, bro, those words do nothing for me. So why would I retain it, hold on to it, be so offended from it when it does nothing for me? Like, you know what I mean? So I only hold on to the stuff that gives me value, that makes me better, that makes me, you know, but I've trained myself to do that, because I used to listen to tonality. I used to listen to how offensive you're talking and how you need to change your tone when you speak to me and all that stupid shit. Like, I don't do that no more. Now it's like, is he saying something valuable? If I listen to this advice, can I possibly be better than I currently am? That's it. That's the only filter that I have. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to filter your tonality and how I think you shouldn't speak to me. Like, you know, in fact, like, this is going to sound crazy to some of you, but you could speak to me whatever tone you want and say whatever words you want, and I'm going to have the same mood that I was before you started speaking, because I'm fully in control of how I feel. Like, nobody's going to take away my peace, man, you know, because, like, I don't have any expectations on how I think you should behave. And if you act out of your mind, I'm going to just pray for you to, like, you know what I'm saying? That's it. I'm going to just wish for you to do better, wish for you to be better, and realize, have empathy towards you, that you must be going through something. If you have so much poisonous energy, you know, that you're trying to toss at me, it means you're going through something. It means you need help. So why would I react like a person that desperately needs help? Now we both need help. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'd rather be a walking solution than to be a walking product of what the fuck's happening to me. And now I'm only a product of how messed up you are. And you know what I'm saying? I'm a product of your wretchedness, your evilness. You had an attitude, so now I had an attitude. You started cursing at me, and so now I feel justified cursing at you. And you're indirectly, you know, you're like, you're molding me. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're molding me into the world's image, your image, you know what I'm saying? Whatever personality you have now dictates how I'm going to respond, how I'm going to act. And it's like, fuck that. I'm going to be kind. I'm going to be peaceful. I'm going to be considerate. And it doesn't matter what you're giving me in return, because you don't determine me. I do. You know what I'm saying? Like, so yeah, man. Anyways, so if I had that years ago, I would have never wrote so many songs. I would have never even been positioned for so much emotional pain. You know what I'm saying? It was because of my lack of understanding. So, and all you're getting, get more understanding, because my people perish for a lack of understanding, you know what I'm saying? So that's why I was perishing. That's why I was suicidal over some chick that didn't love me. Lack of understanding, like a sense of entitlement, thinking she don't owe me nothing. She doesn't owe me her love. She doesn't owe me a text back. She doesn't owe me consideration. She doesn't have to be there for me. It doesn't matter if I do 10,000 things and she doesn't even have to do one thing for me if I did 10,000 things for her. You know what I'm saying? Because love is not transactional. Love just says, I love you. Love doesn't say, I love you. Do you love me? Do you love me too? Like, when you do that shit, you know what you're doing? You're saying, yo, I love you for me. I love you for how you make me feel. I love you for how, like, you know, like, you're saying it. You're like baiting someone into saying it back to you. You know what I'm saying? Like, I remember my niece used to do that. I'm like, yo, you say I love you 25 times a day. Do you say it because you want to hear it back? Do you need to feel loved? Like, what's up, man? Like, what are you, discouraged? Like, what's going on with you? You know, I'm like, yo, I have to tell her, all right, you said that already. Like, you know, 25 times later in the same day, you know? So anyways, give me a second. So I'm like outside right now. Might be a little windy, sorry. So yeah, man. So thank you guys for showing up, those of you who did. And one second, yo. Yo, that's crazy. How I lose a whole laptop? Alright, so yeah, that's pretty much it for now, man. I would show you more songs, but I gotta charge my phone and, you know what I'm saying, do some stuff later. But I appreciate your time. And yeah, man, see you on the next podcast. Take care.